Love you, Swami.
There lived in Malur in the state of Karnataka a pious Brahmin who was a great scholar. Always intent on worship, recitation and meditation, this noble man was known far and wide for his virtuous character. His wife too was a devout lady. One day, a monk by name Nityananda came to his door seeking alms. This made the Brahmin extremely happy. After giving him whatever he could that day, he invited the monk to come the next day too to have dinner with him, as he was keen to honor the ascetic with due hospitality. So the next morning, he hung green festoons over his doors and made elaborate arrangements to welcome the holy man. But at the 11th hour, his wife suddenly fell ill and was not in a position to prepare food for the honored guest. At this moment, a neighbor volunteered to cook the meal, and so she was brought into the kitchen. Everything went off well, and all were as happy as they could be under the circumstances. However, there was one issue which bothered the saint greatly. For some unknown reason, during his meal, he was drawn by an overpowering desire to steal the silver cup with which he was served water. In spite of his best efforts to remove that evil idea from his mind, the monk was unable to get over it. Finally, as he was finishing his dinner, and when the Brahmin had gone inside for a few moments, the monk quickly hid the cup in the folds of his robe. In fact, after the meal, he hurriedly said goodbye and returned to his dwelling, lest somebody discovers his act. But that night, the monk could not get a wink of sleep. His conscience pricked him constantly. He felt he had brought disgrace to his guru as well as to the ancient enlightened sages whom he invoked by the mantras he recited every day. He could not sleep even for a second. He waited anxiously for the next morning, and the moment it was dawn, he rushed to the house of his pious host. Once he was there, he fell at the feet of the noble Brahmin and submitted the stolen article with tears of repentance trickling down his cheeks. Everyone wondered how such a good man could stoop so low. It is then that someone suggested it might not be his fault. It could have happened because of the person who cooked the food. And so the Brahmin now examined the history of the neighbor who had cooked the food. And to his shock, he found out that she was in fact an irrepressible thief. It was her trait that had affected the food which was prepared, and this quality had subtly gone into the monk's mind.
This is a story narrated by Bhagawan himself to tell us how important it is for us to chant the food prayer before we eat, so that all these invisible impurities in the food get cleared away. And as we eat, we become healthy in body and mind.